I have the same tea.
Welcome, everyone, to another edition of Carpets and Coffee.
Good afternoon. And morning and evening, perhaps.
Yeah, see, some people debate, why are you doing a show at 4 p.m., 7 p.m.? Oh, yeah, sorry to everybody in the chat. We told 3. We pushed it back.
That's my bad. I take full responsibility.
They'll survive.
Yeah.
But anyway,
in truth, I needed
coffee. Coffee is a beverage that could be had at any time of day. Morning, afternoon.
I agree.
Yeah.
I just haven't been able to do that lately. Just too much caffeine.
My body physically cannot take caffeine in that much anymore. I used to. Like when I was in Santa Barbara, that was my routine. Get to work first thing, get with the team, go get coffee. After lunch, go back up to the house, grab coffee cups, get coffee for the afternoon, and then just rock and roll. And 5 days a week, it was 2 cups of coffee all day. And eventually my body was like, okay, we're not doing this anymore. So I definitely save it for the weekends, particularly for the show.
Very nice. Very nice. Yes, I do my morning cup, and I'm always playing with the idea of quitting. I should probably quit because I drink that thing and then I'm just an anxious wreck until about lunchtime. And then I'm like, oh, it was the coffee again. So I'm in a love-hate relationship with the coffee.
I'm having more of this stuff, the Stumptown Indonesia. It's really good. I think everything that comes out of Indonesia, Australia, Borneo, I've had several different beans from those areas, and they're really good. I have yet to have one I don't like. So
that sounds good. I had to do an emergency coffee where it's just Pete's. There's nothing fancy. It is just Pete's.
Hey, at least that's good. Pete's is good stuff.
It wasn't AM PM blend or whatever.
No. Pete's, if you're getting Pete's coffee, if you really want to get fired up, you get the Major Dickinson's blend.
Yes.
That stuff is good.
I prefer Pete's to Starbucks.
Oh,
West Coast
too.
People will know what we're talking about.
All day. Yeah. And if you don't have Pete's, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That's unfortunate. Come visit.
One of the better chains for sure. Do you have Phil's up there?
No, not that I know of. There's this thing that's really popular with the youths. It's called Dutch Bros, and they're little drive-through things. And so my little sister goes there all the time and hangs out. And
I have never been to a Dutch Bros, but I've heard their whole thing is just incredible customer service.
I mean, I've driven through once and it was cool. And I don't know, I got some drink that I don't know what it was. It had 8 words in it and stuff that it was came out 4 colors and sweet as all hell. But
I knew someone that was deciding to make a day trip to go to a Dutch Bros. They were like, that's what I'm doing today. I was like, exactly. I said, why? And they said, because the people are so nice there. I was like,
it's not like it's a theme park or something where you can spend all day there.
It didn't make any sense to me. I almost would prefer it if the person giving me my coffee in the morning wasn't very nice, because then you get you get your blood boiling early and you're kind of ready to go.
Yeah.
Damn, that guy was an asshole. And then you're drinking caffeine, you're fired up.
Yeah, it's a good way to get going. I don't know. I guess we can't talk because here we are. We're on a show that's dedicated partially to our obsession with coffee and snakes.
Yes.
Oh, I wish there was smell-o-vision and smell-cast. You guys could smell this coffee right now. It's just
we could describe the odors in our space. You go first.
It's full-bodied. It's got a lot of cocoa and chocolate, but it's sweet, and it reminds me of a nice little dark hazelnut on that.
Ooh.
But I do not adulter my coffee with additives. I drink coffee straight black, so I need it to be really good on its own.
Excellent.
Because I'm a snob.
My space currently smells like craft store, specifically Michael's, if you know what that is.
Yes.
because my friend and I just dropped way too much money on Michael's stuff. This is a eucalyptus specific fake plant
Nice.
that I picked up. It's got the little eucalyptus nubs.
Wow. That's nice.
Isn't that pretty good?
I mean, and I bet you if there was a reptile slapped on that price tag, it'd probably cost $50.
Exactly. So I got a few strands of that. I got a bunch of other like fake grasses that kind of looked better than anything you can get at, specialty pet stores. So
Nice.
I did that. And like we were talking about it a little bit before we hit record, I'm working on finally trying to foam an enclosure. So got a million foam bricks and hot glue and dowels and all these things. And I'm excited. It's going to be cool.
It's fun. Once you get your hands dirty and you start like throwing foam together in a tank and gluing it in place and cutting it and sculpting it and, just rocking and rolling with it, and you see it start coming to life. It's really addicting.
Scott says the weirdest looking uke I have ever seen. Yeah, I know it's not perfect, but it's the closest I can find without getting the real stuff, which I can. But then people were like, Lucas, you shouldn't get the real stuff. It's too aromatic. I'm like, meh.
Yeah,
so,
but it smells delicious.
Right. Apparently, some people think that that's too much in a cage. I don't know. I don't either.
I know this much.
Exactly. But anyway, back. Yes, on the enclosure, I'm particular. Sorry, mate. I angry.
He just woke up. He's having his coffee, and the first thing he's seeing is a B- of a eucalyptus replica, and he's just naturally
that would probably set me off too.
What's an American plant that would insult you if you saw some other country being like, this is a California poppy or something, if they did it terribly.
Right. For me, I would probably be most upset to see a terrible redwood replica.
Ah, yes.
Just because that's
pretty
I went
iconic.
to Santa Cruz, that's what we have that nobody else does.
Yeah, pretty iconic.
But yeah, so foaming, it's a big giant glass paludarium thing. Very tall. It's going to be for an Aki. And I'm so excited. We're going to do ledges. We're going to have a basking ledge. We're going to do a little indentation, a little scooped burrow inside the rock wall that it can like scurry into. I'm stoked. It might not work, but I'm stoked at the idea.
You'll never know until you try.
Yeah. There you go. Snakes do just fine with eucalyptus.
Yeah. What's Scott saying? He's in GenBank chasing elapid sequences.
Sequences and GenBank makes me think he's looking at
DNA.
Like DNA, yeah.
Yeah.
Genetic stuff.
Yeah. Hey, more power to you. I would be looking at that like Morse code or something in the Matrix, being like,
Are you working on trying to do some
doing stuff with
phylogenetic elapid work? That's cool.
That would make sense given his avenue of work.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Well, Godspeed. Don't let the numbers get you.
Yeah. Keep that cup of coffee full.
Yes. So yeah, craft store, cool new tank. We had a format last week. Eric made up a format, but I already forgot.
Yeah. It was it involved having a locality of the week, which I don't know all the different things he has. He's got an entire catalog of things, but refresh my memory. Did we talk about the Nova Guinea stuff last week? We did, huh?
Yes. Because you picked up some, right?
Yeah, and I've just been looking at them more again online, and there's just like nothing on there. So
we can talk about if you'd want to jump into your other new carpet-related pickup.
Yeah, I finally pulled the trigger on a female inland, so I'll be joining the Metcalfi Club by way of Stephen Cush, the young, incomparable, insufferable. Just he's gonna go places, man. Mark my words. Remember this sentence. He'll be big time, and it's just a matter of time if he keeps going the way he's going.
For
he's
sure.
young and doing good stuff. But yeah, he produced a clutch of inlands, I believe last year. So he's been holding on to them for a little while.
Okay.
I think they gave him some trouble on feeding and maybe lost some eggs or something like that. But they are Schofield Maug cross lines, so that's pretty cool. And
Nice.
so yeah, it'll be like a little yearling female, I think, something like that.
That's awesome, man. You're gonna love it.
This year, all of the additions that I've put in have been completely just happenstance, either somebody approaching me or something coming to the shop, like not me going outward and shopping for it.
Right.
But then
Woma's
it falls.
just happening to be born next to
Woma's,
you. Yeah.
captive born and bred Apodora, the Nova
Yeah.
Guineas, like these corn snakes, like all this stuff. So
100%. It's all good.
Yeah, I mean, as long as snakes keep leaving from this rack and I keep selling and the girlfriend can't get upset. That's important, because I did also just buy a little fish tank so I could have so I could have little feeder fish. That's little 1.5 gallon I had before wasn't cutting it, so I got like a little 2.5 gallon like shrimp tank thing, and I just made it real simple and bare so I can easily pull feeder fish out of there.
Nice.
So the Crebos can have more opportunity to fish and get better on feeding. The two males are being pretty difficult. I think this week I need to switch them onto clear water bowls, like deli cup water bowls, so they can see through the side, see the fish action from the side.
Right.
See if that changes any interest. But I don't know. The female eats. She took a pinky off the tongs. She's just like, oh, all right.
Nice.
But the thing is, she's kind of kinked. And so 2 days after feeding, you could still see it. And I was just like, oh.
She's kinked
in her back.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Yeah. So it's a train wreck clutch.
Yeah.
If they all start eating and doing really well, then the males I'll put in hands of some friends, and then the female I'll just hold on to, because like, dude, she's wacky. But
for sure.
Next year will be better. I was just checking on the female up here. She just shed, and she is a monster. She's gotten much bigger since last year, so I'm hopeful that will at least just get me a better starting point on like robust embryo and eggs. So we'll see.
For sure. I mean, I bet you're gonna, kind of build upon this year and knock it out of the park next year, especially with some more body condition on her. And of course, there's only so much that's actually in our control, but
yeah,
I have faith.
Hopefully she doesn't nearly get eaten this year. So
yeah, that would be really nice to skip that part.
Yeah. Well, I took notes on dates of timing and like intros and stuff like that, so I know when they are and aren't receptive, or at least when she is. He's always receptive.
Okay. Right.
But yeah, she has to be in the zone, otherwise he's just kind of half-assed, and then he'll instinctually get a feeding response and go after her if she moves too far.
Interesting. Yeah. Well, they're such cool snakes. I mean, the whole Drymarchon thing is like definitely on my list of things that I shouldn't touch but really want to.
Well, you already have false water cobras, man. I mean, it's not that much different, but
it's not that I don't think I couldn't do a good
job.
It's
a substantial footprint for an adult.
It's just it's more. Yeah.
100%. So like, if you are planning on throwing your adult hydros in 6-foot cages, 8-foot cages?
When the falsies are grown, I'd love to have them in a minimum of 6. 8 would be ideal.
Yeah. See, I've got my adult blacktail in a 6-foot cage, and he makes that thing look small at times, because he can span the entire length of it and turn around the corner. And then yellowtails get even longer. Indigo is not so big, and then I think the Rubidus and the Texas and those guys are similar all size. But
for sure, yeah. I don't know. Like, so you've had the Crebos. Have you also been hands-on, like at the zoo or anything, with any of the other ones?
Yeah, I've been hands-on multiple times with indigos, Texas indigos, yellowtails.
Is there
unicolors.
is there a pretty notable difference in disposition, behavior, or is it kind of more difference in color scheme?
There is difference in color scheme. Obviously,
Mhm.
there's a little bit of morphology difference in the head structure between uh, the Crebos. So like the yellowtails heads are more angular and flat and kind of bigger and bulkier than the unicolors and blacktails and rubidis and indigos. But otherwise, the yellowtails, because most of the stock we have in the United States is either long-term captive import or only like one or two generations in, you see more examples of flighty or defensive or willing to bite out of defense in the yellowtails more than anything.
Okay.
That's not to say you can't elicit that behavior out of indigos or crebos of other sorts, but the yellowtails seem to be the ones that are a little more cantankerous more than anything.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Very cool. Yeah, I mean they're incredible. Yeah. Those guys, diamonds, someday.
yeah, I actually like if somebody were to offer me diamonds right now, I wouldn't want them. I'm not
Because of the
outfit.
cold.
I'm just not outfit for them. I would not. Well, first of all, this room is full. Let's be real. Second of all,
You can still walk, can't you?
barely. The other thing is I want to put them somewhere where I can shut off heat at night and know that it'll cool down. In this room, some nights it does not cool down for like for this time of year. Even though it's like getting cool out like 60 at night, it still stays like 70 in this room, 75 plus. So it doesn't cool down enough, and I would want them to kind of have a different setup and arrangement than I have in this room. So
For sure.
so
Yeah,
I will hold off until I can do them justice.
right on. That makes sense. I feel like they would slot in well to what I'm doing at the moment, just because I would treat them similarly to the Brettles with the
course.
cooling.
Of course.
So,
well, and I'm not having success with Brettles because of the lack of significant cooling. So it's kind of
right.
Quality and rarity evaluations aside,
Right.
Brettles would have been another Python if I were to have the foresight in building my collection. Would have probably saved for last for the same reasons as the diamonds, but
you're in a tricky spot with that because it absolutely gets cold enough where you live, but it's just not easy for you to get them somewhere that that experiences that because of what where you're at. So like you definitely could do it, but maybe in a different space.
Yes. There's not really many places I can drop below like 64 in this place right now.
Right.
So one day I'll be in a more suitable space. For now, I couldn't bear parting with them. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird. I've kind of moved on from the gotta collect them all syndrome of Morelia. Yet at the same time, now that I have Novas, I'm like, ooh, new Morelia. I haven't had new Morelia in a while, like truly new. And then now this opportunity to get an inland, I'm like, oh, all I need are diamonds and Imbricata, although Imbricata aren't here.
Right.
But I'm almost there. And now all of a sudden I'm like reinvigorated on that hunt for absolutely no good reason. But what are you going to do? I mean, you only live once, enjoy it while you're on the ride. So I'm going to do it.
The inlands and the diamonds, the ones that you have left that are actually attainable, are two of the coolest freaking ones. So might as well.
Yeah. I mean, I've had chondros. I've had several of those over the years. So like, I just need some Reffies one day too. But that's another species I want to do well.
That's one that you can hold off for when Owen is finally producing them consistently.
Yeah, you, Owen, whoever. I mean, I'm surrounded by the right people. Brett, he's set. Sure. Chris asked, did all the citrus tigers find new homes? No, I still have quite a few. Let's see. There's a couple that are being stubborn on eating as far as the hets, but the albinos are now going through their second round of shedding. And I'm actually starting to doubt myself even further. I don't know, Lucas, if you saw the messages between Eric and myself in the chat, but
yes.
So when these babies hatched, there was two very distinct looks in the albinos, and it was sort of an overall muted color with like pink and almost off-white tones, and then an orange head with orange eyes. And then there was the really vibrant orange and purple with like super orange eyes and orange head. And that really vibrant one, I sort of initially assumed was the caramel albino, and the white and orange ones I just assumed didn't have it. They had their first shed, just rolled with that. Now they're starting to have their second sheds, and I was just at Travis's place, and I saw some of his albino Darwins that he hatched out recently, and some of them are striped, and I was just looking at the color palette, and although it is different from, you know, including the citrus tiger stuff, which is obviously coastal, it kind of got me thinking, you know, maybe I have them backwards.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know though. I don't know. I reached out to to Eric. He's gonna see if Paul has any insight. I reached out to Phil Starkey, and he offered to lend his insight, but didn't promise anything. And when he saw them, he said, you know, it's pretty tough to say, but
sure,
you know, he had a very good caveat in that. Don't forget, these are, you know, extremely variable animals, and the genetic expressions are additionally extremely variable. So, you know, and it's a very good point. We're talking about like the most variable python species, pretty much. So,
complicated.
What that leads me to think now is that I just need to hold on to all the albinos until I just kind of figure out the different looks. And Chris, if you want a visual and a het pair, oh man, I don't even know. I only have one female het unspoken for. I don't even think she's eating yet. Oh, she's just starting to. She's getting there. We can talk, but there's limited supply on the albinos. I don't know what I'm doing, so I'm in no rush to sell those yet. So if you want to snag a female, that's the last one. But yeah. Anyway, what have you been up to, Lucas? You haven't had anything?
I've been going insane. I did add things. Damn it.
You did?
Kinda.
What'd
Well,
you do?
Okay. So I'll first say that first and foremost, I'm on day 60 for first Sprettles clutch. So I'm on pip watch.
Yeah.
I'm looking for the pips, but nothing yet. So that's number one. The next thing is that Owen is finally going to send me his Woma pair, which, you know, we've been talking about for a long time. So it's kind of news in that it's actually going to happen.
Nice.
I gotta, you know, set up ready for quarantine those two and housing those. So I think he's going to ship those on Wednesday.
Beautiful.
So that'll be cool.
What will that put your Ramsey eye population at? Sorry, Scott. I'm sure I pronounced that improperly.
That will be 8.
Nice. Very nice.
Yeah.
Wow.
I did have that one adult male that I purchased. I ended up having to send that back. I wasn't able to clear out a respiratory infection it arrived with. Yay for quarantine. That's why we do it. That is why we do it. And it worked. So unfortunately I had to send that guy back, and you know, no ill will. The folks that sent him to me were great to work with. And I think it was just a genuine, you know, oops. So hopefully that snake can get better in their care, but I wasn't going to do that here and risk my collection for a mystery illness. But anyway, there's that. And then Santa Eric is sending snakes. Soon.
Yeah.
That's kind of an addition.
That means I need to send Owen the hognose soon.
Right. Yeah. And so Santa Eric has hinted at some gelatins and some banded popwins, which is going to be incredible.
Santa Eric.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
I would say Snake Daddy, but Snake Daddy's in the chat.
And it sounds weird when it's said in conversation like that.
Yeah, to an extent. And then I also got a phone call from Mr. Nick Mutton on my lunch break the other day, and might have ended that conversation with 3 animals discussed that I don't want to say anything about yet, but I'll just tease it with that.
Oh boy. Who knows? I know it's the ball pythons, right?
Yeah, I'm clearing them out.
Ball pythons.
I'm gutting him of his entire royal collection. Actually, yep. Riley, royal, please.
Royals, you're right. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Let's keep it. Academic.
Keep it civil. Yeah. Keep it academic.
No, it is not that, but it is something that is. If this ends up happening, it will be a pretty left turn for me. I'll tell you after the show.
I have an idea.
Sip, sip. Slurp that coffee. Yeah. And then in addition to all that, my good friend and coworker at East Bay and I have decided that we are going to co-parent a trio of beautiful Kimberly Rock monitors. So yeah, Eric and Owen had that thing. They had that show with Mike.
Yep, which was amazing.
They're like, it's amazing. Listen to it. We're going to cater a show to snake people that like monitors but are too afraid to take the plunge. That's me. And when it's all said and done, it worked. So doing that whole thing. Yeah, pretty crazy.
Nice. You're brave.
That's my news. You're
excited. Brave man.
Well, so I have this really cool thing happening here where my housemate is moving to another country in a couple weeks. And so I'm about to have a lot more space.
Oh, that's right. I forgot that was coming up for you.
Yeah. So this room where I currently am with my bed and, everything that I need to live, in addition to the snakes, I'm going to move all the bed and life stuff into the other room. And this is just going to be a snake hall.
Is the other room smaller?
It is smaller.
Good.
Yes.
Give the snakes more room. You don't need to spend more time in your bedroom than you do sleeping.
That is exactly what's happening. And it's hilarious. It's hilarious to me. The snakes are getting what would, I guess, if I was a real estate agent, be, quote, the master bedroom or whatever. Nice. So
nice.
I'll be over in Harry Potter's broom closet.
There you go.
But I am very excited about that.
Sacrifices must be made.
Yeah, and I'm
for the good of the colony.
I'm gonna have legged critters. So.
Jesus, you're gonna have to get fast on your grabs in case they dart out.
I know.
I let Pocket Lizard roam on my shoulders too long and trusted him, and he took a little walk about the shop and go run him down. It's fun.
I adore that lizard. That Quince monitor.
He's funny.
Yeah,
he's still missing he's missing a bunch of his toenails. It's hilarious. He can't grip onto much.
Aww. Yeah. Now there are 2 Colubrid podcasts on NPR.
Yeah. So Scott, that has been on my mind lately. I've been trying to retrain myself to say Colubrid again.
Yeah.
So I always grew up saying Colubrid.
Right.
Always did.
Owen broke us.
He did. I actually was just going to say exactly that. The first time I heard somebody say Colubrid was listening to NPR years and years and years ago, finding that. And I was like, whoa. And then I've even heard folks from the Canadian Herpetoculture podcast call it Colubrid. I became very confused in my Colubrid pronunciation identity.
Colubrid.
And so what I started doing was just saying whatever the person I was talking to would say. And so now I'm trying to retrain myself back to Colubrid. Colubrid.
No.
See, I did it again. It's easy.
I'm with you, Scott. It hurts. I've always also, just like Riley, grown up saying Colubrid.
Colubrid.
So Owen's colubrid always threw me for a loop, but then everybody around me started saying it, and it sneaks into your psyche.
Mm-hmm.
And so then I catch myself in between, and I don't say colubrid and I don't say colubrid, but then I say something weird that sounds like a mutant child of both.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Colubroid.
you can't mess that one up. He's not going to say colubroid.
Oh, try him. He might.
He hasn't used that word yet that I've noticed.
I bet you if you try and get Owen to speak on that, that's how he'll pronounce it. That would be my guess.
Yeah.
Mind you, I know what homolopsids and dipsadids are too. Bowling. Bolins. That's another one. Hey Scott, while we have you here helping out the Latin pronunciationally challenged Americans. That was not grammatically correct, but I don't care. We got through it together. What is the proper pronunciation? I always say Bolins. And then for the proper pronunciation, am I correct in assuming it is Bolini? Because what I've been learning is that when you end on the I, just a single I, it's E. If you get I's, then it's EI. Apparently, Ramsay, that's how you say the womas.
Scott.
Bolini. I got it.
Wow, we really do everything wrong.
Do. Oh, this is what happens when you leave the interns to a show. Sorry, Eric and Owen.
Oh, we haven't gotten to apology territory yet. Nobody shotgunned a beer.
That's true.
I say that as that was my favorite episode we've ever done.
Yeah, we won't go there.
That was awesome.
We don't need to go back there.
I was somewhere in the Eastern Sierras dying with mono, not knowing I had mono yet.
Yeah, that's right. You were off the grid a bit. That was funny.
That was good. But anyway, so also Scott let me know that it's melanocephalus, apparently. Is that right? Is that true?
You know what else is true? Leucistic instead of leucistic.
And then, so that means it's not cephalopod, it's cephalopod?
Cephalopod. Yep.
That just makes me so sad.
We've been lied to by all of our grade school teachers.
Yeah.
That's okay. I don't remember any of them.
Yeah, forget them. Correct.
Oh, wow. Look at us. Hey, if you're not learning something new every day, you're not doing it right. So that's what we're here doing. We're learning.
Right.
Live
Scott,
learns.
Scott, if folks out there want to be more correct with their Latin pronunciation, is there a resource that we can use to learn the correct rules? Because I know, like, if I just Google on our, US Google how to pronounce what have you, it says melanocephalus back to you. So, like, even the
Don't
Google's
ask
wrong.
Siri.
Right. Is there like a good book or website that's like how to say things like this correctly?
There's got to be something out there, either a book or like sort of the rules of Latin, because it seems to be Latin based. All of these pronunciations, all Latin based, right?
Right.
The binomial nomenclature. So,
right.
Yeah, I think if you just follow Latin rules, which I don't know.
I don't know them either. Before I don't have the ability to pin comments, but before it goes bye, the Snake Daddy, what type of boxes do you use for egg boxes? I'm finding it more difficult to keep higher humidity with my old boxes in a new hot box incubator because of the awesome ventilation. At the moment, I have one clutch in a sim container and then another clutch in just a like typical shoebox. I can grab one. What about you, Riley?
I just have these generic Holmes boxes. They're like just an average 6-quart tub that I found at the store. Something similar to that. Yeah. Nothing fancy, not airtight or anything. And no holes in them. I don't use any cling wrap or anything like that. And my incubator is is like a 6 foot tall Sobe refrigerator drink fridge that I've converted, and pulled the fan and stock fan out, put a computer fan in, and just heat on the back wall, and that's how I rock it. So yeah,
for sure. Scott said, do you rely on Google for snake information? No,
Nope.
Of course not.
I want to try some sim containers this coming season. I might grab one and try it out. We found in the shop that for whatever reason the sailfin eggs don't really do well in them. They seem to deflate no matter how well those things seal. And then we had crescent eggs die on us in them.
So. I get way more condensation in the sim container than I'm getting in the one I just held up, because the one I just held up doesn't have as good a seal, I would say. But yeah, I don't know. So far, it seems to be doing the trick, but we'll see what actually pops out of these eggs eventually, and then I'll make a determination.
Right. Yeah. Everybody does something different. I mean, I know Nick does those like bus tubs with a piece of glass on the top and just has a walk-in.
He has a whole room as in.
Yeah, he's got a walk-in, so he's dialed the ambient in, and so the ambient is perfect, so he gets the media and into the right size bins. There's also, you got to have the right airflow to your bins. Like if you're filling up a small bin with a ton of eggs, that's not going to do as well as if you have like a bigger bin with more airflow around it, so those eggs can breathe properly. Oh, look at him climbing up there.
Blackheads. At the moment, I now have the computer on a stack, my 6-foot cage, and then 2 3-foot cages, all with blackheads. So as I'm looking at you, right below you is just blackheads running around all over the place. They're all out. They're all moving. They never stop.
It's nice and warm.
Yeah. Very easily distracted with with this setup.
Yeah. If the seal is really good, would you add holes? Maybe one small one, but just really depends. You're going to have to tinker with it. You're going to have to experiment with your incubator, your ambient humidity, and your tubs.
The amount of like air movement that you would want is a little bit species dependent too, is it not?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Absolutely. You can't just cookie cutter the same thing. Like if I were to throw, I don't know, name another species of python, eggs in the same method in my incubation, it probably wouldn't be as smooth as what I have dialed in for Morelia. So
right. Blackhead eggs, for instance.
Yeah, probably not. I don't know. I really don't know. I wouldn't count on it. I would assume that my incubator would do decently for most snake eggs that cook well around 87-ish. And if they can take some fluctuation, because I actually didn't care to dial mine in to the point where it doesn't fluctuate at all. And I just want it to be roughly where I want it. And I like fluctuation with eggs. I think it's healthy. I think it's natural. I think they would experience that in the wild, even in underground dens and nests and burrows and things. So even if it's just a couple degrees. So,
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
I agree.
So you've got one clutch of MI going, or two?
One. The
one's
one
at
that,
60.
Yes, that's a full MI clutch. I didn't touch it. The other one is the one that I removed 5 eggs and put those in the incubator, and she wrapped up the rest. Yeah.
And what's that clutch at? The second one?
Those ones were laid on the 6th of July. So bing, bang, boom. Looking at calendar app. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times 6 is 42, right?
43.
So those would be on day 45.
42. I don't know. I can't count. Don't ask me. 42.
They're on day 45.
Whatever. Cool. Nice.
So, yeah, a little bit behind, but
they're almost there, man. That one clutch is at 60. That's literally any day now.
Right. If if it wasn't an MI clutch, I would have loved to manually pip them at this point.
Can you see her, or is she in a black tub?
I can see her. There's a hole, and I can lift the lid. I've been checking a little bit every day to see if I see a little nose.
Is she still like super tight over them?
She's been a little bit loosening up with that recently. There was a period of time where she wasn't leaving them at all, and she was super, super tight wrapped around them. But now she's been going back to the bowl every now and then. So, yeah.
Man, yeah, you're right there. Any day, any moment.
Yeah, man, I'm so excited, and now I have enough baby bins for anything. If all actually goes well, I won't need help, so that's good.
Yeah, you'll fill that thing up.
I hope so. I hope I don't lose too many. I had the realization that a lot of them in one of the hypo stripe clutches was fully shelled infertils that went green and nasty around day 30. But I hope all the ones that actually had a chance of being good go the distance. Yeah. Because there's nothing I can do about the other ones. Yeah, that was just.
Yeah, that's just how it goes.
It's just my fault for not candling them first and thinking that they were good because they looked just like the other ones.
Yeah, I tend to not candle just because I don't think about it, and I don't really worry about when eggs kind of go bad. I've never really had like a contagion take over a whole clutch of eggs. It's just like one or occasionally two.
From what I've
die
seen,
off on their own spontaneously.
The ones that have been going bad touch a bunch of good ones where I can see, really nice vasculature. Right. And the good eggs are unaffected. Maybe they have a little bit of a blue stain over on that side, but they're not succumbing to it.
Right.
So I think that the adage that a good egg doesn't go bad might be pretty spot on, at least in terms of like a spreading mold or something.
Yeah, something minor. I mean, there's probably extreme things minor that could totally take over.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Scott sent me a picture. I don't have the power to project things. Scott, if you want to send that to Riley, I think he can do that.
What are we looking at?
It appears to be how to pronounce things.
Oh.
Which might be helpful.
Is it like a website link then?
It's just a photo. Maybe I can send this into.
Yeah, if you send that to me, I can share the
there we go.
Screen.
There it is.
All right, we'll pull.
We're going to class today, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay.
Are you getting bad smoke up where you are? My eyes are
horrible smoke up here, dude.
We're back in it.
Oh, it's been so bad at the shop. It reeks.
Yeah.
Smoky
I hate this time of year.
Yeah. All right. There we go.
Okay. A point to be noted is that proper names retain their identity even when Latinized. All right. Okay.
A as in bay. Oh, okay. So look, everything.
A as in bat.
This is wow. This is mind blowing. Sorry for everybody who's trying to listen to this. We're looking at a visual of like all the different Latin ending pronunciations.
Oh, E as in wait. I as in bit. I bit.
King Horne.
Breadly. Okay. Anyway.
Yeah,
cool. So, I'll break that down a little bit later.
Yeah, we'll have to study that one day.
Thank you. Thank you, Scott.
That was interesting.
Yes. That is a lot for me. School is starting. Speaking of education and things being a lot for me. Yeah. Stats opened up today. And in addition to stats, I'll be taking herpetology this semester with none other than NPR network associate himself, Zachary Loafman.
Nice. So
Shout
are you
out.
going to campus for that?
No, oh God, no. I'm not
All
moving to West
online.
Virginia. All online. But yeah, so it will be good. I'll hopefully actually be learning graduate level herpetology stuff from Zach that I can probably directly attribute to everything that we talk about. So it might be a really good semester.
Sweet. That'll be fun.
Yeah.
If there's
Yeah.
anything worth going to school for, that sounds interesting.
100%.
Yeah.
And of course, shout out to Colubrid and Colubroid Radio, the new show. Yes.
Colubrid.
Did you have a chance to listen to the new Fight Club episode?
Would that be the food one?
It was the. It was. Damn it.
Is it the feeding rate?
Oh no. I guess there's a new one. Feeding schedules I haven't listened to. I was gonna bring up the Invisible Arc episode.
I only managed to get through part of it, and then I had to shut it off, and I forgot that I started it and have not gone back.
For sure. That was a really good one. Yeah, with Casey Cannon and I believe Bill Bradley.
Okay.
Really good discussion. That's something I feel like a lot of people, especially kind of the bigger names in the hobby, have been really running with that ARC concept and the idea of, quote, insurance colonies and, captive populations in the name of conservation, yada, 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 which of course is not a black and white thing at all. So it was a great conversation. I had a lot of moments where I was going, and nodding in agreement, and a lot of moments where I was going, I don't know about that. So it's good. I recommend it.
Nice. I'll have to go finish it.
Do you believe in the idea of, quote, insurance colonies being a viable conservation action from everyday people like you and I? Do you think that that's real? Or do you think that that's just a nice thing to lean upon to make us feel better about our, quote, pet hoarding? And I'm not saying I believe either way.
I think unless you're actively working with a species that is critically endangered and in need of propagation or you're putting them back in the wild, or you're building a colony until a certain land area is ready for them to go back, if that's even like remotely possible. In most places it's not. Unless you're doing that, no. I think you're just preserving them for herpetoculture, not for conservation of the species as it pertains to its position in its environmental niche and what it's supposed to be contributing to the globe. I do not believe that is accurate referencing at all.
I agree. I agree.
I think it's a really feel-good idea and term, and it's a buzzword for people to justify some potentially questionable or unethical decisions and actions. And I think there are people that do it with the full intention of making sure species don't disappear. And even if that's making sure they don't disappear from herpetoculture, there's value in that, even if they will never go back into the wild.
Exactly. That's the distinction.
I'm not saying there's no value in it. I'm saying if, don't bullshit us.
That's where the nuance gets lost. We're not saying there's no value, but in terms of in situ conservation.
Yeah, unless you're doing something with in situ conservation, putting animals back or benefiting wild populations or doing something like, even if you just have ambassador animals and you're actively working at, environmental days or museums, raising awareness in like actual credible ways, not just like I have an Instagram account, I share photos about them. Like if you're like an actual organization and doing something, then you are contributing. But otherwise, I think it's just a fancy buzzword that a lot of people use to justify their bullshit so they can get money from people.
Yeah, I agree. I also think that it's kind of funny that
Unpopular
some people,
opinion.
well, yeah, maybe
I'm
more
not like
popular than you'd think.
I'm not like saying that there's one person or another doing it. Like I have no intentions, or I'm not implying anything, but I would imagine that there's probably some people who exploit that
Oh,
vernacular.
I fully agree, and it makes me laugh when people are referring to their, captive collection as a, insurance conservation population when they're like all morphs. It's like, yeah, really? You're gonna plop that
Yeah,
one back out there? Okay.
yeah,
Um,
exactly,
I don't
exactly.
know. It's if you actually look into attempted reintroductions of
It's
captive
tough.
born specimen, things
Does
that
does
were
not work well.
no, it almost always doesn't. It's
It has
rarer that
a
it does.
Yeah, it has a very, very prevalent failure rate.
Yeah. I mean, that's why, and this is totally on a tangent, but that's why I think what the Monterey Bay Aquarium does with sea otters is so freaking cool
Because
because
they're successful.
but they use surrogates. They
Yeah,
use they rescue pups, but then they just let the surrogate moms on exhibit teach the otters how to be otters. So then when they go back and
they're good to
their
go.
exhibit is such a nice kelp forest representation that they survive. Like
Yeah,
it's so genius. But
yeah.
anyway, in
No,
terms of
that's
herps, it doesn't work with herps very often.
yeah. I mean, I know some species of like horned lizards in Texas. They've been having some success.
Mhm.
Dallas Zoo's been involved with that.
Right.
I know there's some sea turtle stuff out in Florida, and then
Mhm.
some work with Jamaican iguanas going on. But yeah, not many
Right.
super successful ones to write about.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's a nice thought, and I admire people for like at least paying attention to the thought of conservation, and there's something to be said for that. Like, kudos to you for at least knowing that there's something there, but like, don't
Right.
let's not kid ourselves. We're
For
just
me, I mean,
keeping
especially
snakes.
as like an environmental studies person, I feel like if you really care about conservation and you want to maximize your impact in that realm, your efforts are probably better served going into trying to preserve the places where the things live.
Or donate money to the people who are already doing it.
Right, right. In the wild, like,
Yeah, yeah, like,
point being, you can have 10 million of them
mhm,
in captivity, but
mhm,
if their home is gone, then there's
right.
nowhere to release them back to. You're done.
For example,
It's
Chinese
over.
alligators in the wild, there's less than 200, they think,
Yeah.
and yet there are upwards of 10,000 of them in farms over in China. There's a couple hundred of them in zoos in the States, and they breed off and on here and there, but they have 10,000 of them in these farms in China just kind of hanging out, but they don't have
Yeah.
anywhere to put them.
It is
So,
a lot easier to grow a gator or an animal than it is to grow an old growth
habitat.
forest or
Yeah.
a rainforest. It's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
keep that in mind, conservation
Especially once
people.
there's houses and stuff on it and people living there, you can't just be like,
Yeah,
sorry, gotta
it's not
undo that.
it's not gonna happen. Yeah, yeah.
Control
I
Z.
don't know. Whenever it gets smoky like this, environmental Lucas goes to the
Erg.
front of the brain because he's
Yeah.
depressed. He's depressed that his house is burning down. Nobody tell me it's because somebody forgot to rake the forest. I will fight you.
Actually,
All right.
no, this was intentional arson, if I'm not mistaken. There was a guy going around setting
Oh,
fires in
perfect.
places. Yeah, some crazy dude going around lighting fires in places.
Yeah. Well, the lack of rain for the past 15 years doesn't help.
True.
But
True. Can't
anyway,
dispute that.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Fire, 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 fire. Just reminds me
Fire.
of when I had to evacuate from the Thomas fire.
Oh yeah.
I have a lot more snakes than I did then.
Yeah, I distinctly remember listening to your NPR episode about evacuating from a disaster while biomonitoring in the Oakland Hills. Yeah, that sounded like
Yeah.
a nightmare.
Mm-hmm. It was. It was.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are you gonna do?
Well, I don't know. I have I have a pillowcase for every animal I own. I will
Yep.
not take in a new animal without finding another pillowcase. That is a rule for me.
Yep.
Because my apartment is 15 minutes away from a very wooded East Bay Regional Park that could go.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a huge bug out bag in the top of my closet full of like rolls of heat tape, heat packs, thermostats, like, and then yeah, I'm actually looking at an entire tub with folded like 80 plus pillowcases, and then I got snake bags, deli cups, and everything, and that's exactly what I had to do: is bag everybody up, cup everybody up, throw some of the bigger ones in just big tubs, and just hit the road. So
100%. Yeah.
that sucked.
Did you crash with Travis? Is that right?
Yeah, I crashed with Travis the first time, and then the second time I went down to Mike Renault's place of ADD Reptiles and stayed with him and his family.
Yeah.
So,
well,
yeah.
Knock on cage.
Yeah.
I can bring us back to something fun.
Okay.
I got something to show.
Uh-oh.
I found one of these.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. It's the black one.
I was going to say, people call these the blue Bibles, but this one's black.
Yeah. So I think there was a reprint, and some of them were printed in black, if I'm not mistaken. But I think it's the same thing.
My friend had this, and I saw it, and I was like, "Holy crap!" And he didn't really know what it was, so I am borrowing it.
Nice.
And yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's a good book to refer to.
Well, it's signed by somebody. I don't know who it's signed by. Anyway, I'm going to read it.
The Reproductive Husbandry of Pythons and Boas is definitely a must-have if you are interested in breeding your animals, for sure. It's a good book to reference. It's just full of information, data, and it's just, I don't know, when you doubt yourself, it's nice to have a good concrete resource. I think every season I go back to the Complete Carpet Python 2 or 3 times. I don't know why. I just, I go back to my old basics, study up and refresh, dust the cobwebs off, and do it again. So that's a good book to have because it's full of diversity in there too.
For sure. Yeah, no, I'm really excited to work through it. And of course, the Womas on the cover is great.
Right.
I took a picture of my 2 baby GX3 Womas on top of the baby Womas.
Nice. If I'm not mistaken, that photograph was the first hatching of Woma pythons in the United States.
Wow. Yeah. Badass. And there's that Richard Ross episode that folks can listen to of the herp history. Oh, did you lag out?
What's that? Yeah, sorry, I lagged out for a second.
Oh, I was just saying, and folks can listen to Dr. Richard Ross on that herp history episode.
Yeah,
it was a really good one.
Yeah, it was excellent.
Yeah.
Oh man, so many good interviews. Like I've gone back and listened to quite a few on there when I just got the bug to dive deep into a particular species. Just go through the old catalog of stuff and just flip through, and it's good stuff
for sure.
What, 11 years now of
yeah, it's got to be. Yeah, it's more than 10.
Oh man.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, I don't really have much else. I mean, we already went over the Nova Guinea stuff last week. I was nerding out some more on this week. I didn't really see a whole lot going on. I mean, I think Paul hatched some hypo caramel zebra double het xanthic albinos or granite albinos or something like that. So
my goodness.
Yeah, he's well, I mean, he's already created everything pretty much as far as all the various combos. Now he's got hypo to mix into everything, and so he's having fun with it. And it's not my cup of tea personally, is what I would put in here, but it's really cool to see somebody really just being thorough and kind of going through it all and be like, okay, I want to see what this does with everything, and this does with everything, and this does with everything. Just, I don't know, it's kind of interesting. I think it's fun
for sure.
It's cool to see somebody else doing it. Yeah, the hypo stuff is pretty wild. What's going on over in Australia, and over in Europe. So once that stuff starts taking off here, that's going to be nutty.
Yeah, once it starts getting into more people's hands and
Mhm.
a little bit more affordable eventually, right? Like with, with
I
all the
mean,
more
yeah,
stuff.
visual single gene hypos right now. I think are like $2,000 from Nick,
Hmm.
for at least males. Females might be more, and then hypo tigers are $3,000. So, they're so nice.
Yeah.
I gotta stop buying snakes.
How are those Apodora doing?
They're fantastic. The female just shed last week, or a couple days ago, even. So I had her out the other day. The male is doing really well. My younger guy, I realize, is actually 2.5 now. He's doing really well. Or no, he could be. No, yeah, he's 2.5. Wild COVID. I forget that whole year was there, 2020.
Yeah,
Yeah, I got
exactly.
him at the beginning of 2019. So 1, 2, yeah. So that was pretty fortunate. But yeah, he's doing really well. Everybody's gonna get some food, but they're doing good, man. That female's big. She's long and lean. She's 4 years old, and she's only, I don't know, 2.5 inches in diameter at like her girthiest, but she is definitely 8 feet long. Um,
Nice. That's awesome.
I was talking to Austin Warwick a couple days ago, and his female just shed, and she's 13 feet roughly, and he was saying she's about 3.5 inches in diameter, and she's finally got this nice mature head, like it just over the course of a couple of weeks all of a sudden looked mature, which I found
Mhm.
interesting because carpets do that as they age. They go from having like the Morelia head to like the Morelia head, like the big, like, wha-bam, muscular,
Yeah.
like mature adult head that when you see it and you're like, that's an adult animal, it. I guess Apodora do something like that too, where it gets very just kind of big and muscular, because right now they almost look like their heads are too small for their body even, which is kind of
Hmm.
silly. But don't tell her that. She'll bulldog you, man. She's no joke getting her out of the enclosure, man. It's like Cocoa blocks are coming out. She's grabbing
Oh,
furniture.
damn.
She
Yeah.
does not play. She doesn't come out friendly at all. And that sounds like it's a real rather typical thing with females, is they're pretty defensive about their spot. You can't just reach in and grab them. The males, they like, if they're out and I open the enclosure, they're like very alert. They're kind of huffing and puffing. They're a little nervous, but they don't act on it. You can literally put your hand right under them and pick them up. Now, I don't know if you would do that with everyone's males, but my two are, you don't need a hook. You can just scoop them right up. The female, you need to mark out a few minutes of time to get her out of the enclosure.
Right.
Like, plan for it, because she doesn't want to come out easily.
For sure. Have
So,
have any of them gotten you? Have you been tagged?
no, the female's the only one who's tried, and it was very early on when I got her that she tried. I was still learning what her limits were and kind of
Hmm.
how to remove her from the enclosure, because I'm giving her options in hides and climbing furniture and bedding, and I'm trying that out because everybody says, they're really messy. You got to keep them on paper. So I'm keeping my males on paper and this female on Cocoa blocks. And I'm finding that I'm cleaning the males much more than the female. But the challenge is with the female, it's hard to just go in and spot clean with her in there, because if she sees you in there and she's coming for you, so you can't just be like, oh, don't mind me, I'm just gonna. She's like, what? Your hand is in, and then she'll start coming over, and you got like a limited time. So with her, it's best to pull her out, put her in a separate shift tub, then get into the enclosure, dig around, see if there's any spot cleaning you need to do periodically. Because I'm keeping the males on paper and it works, but I have to spray the paper down to keep it humid. They tear it up. I just don't like it. For this particular species, I personally would prefer to have them all in enclosures where I could have bedding in them nicely. So I might end
Uh-huh.
up switching their tubs back to bedding, because unfortunately we still have those males in tubs.
For sure. Yeah.
So
That's
is what it
super
is.
cool though. Super cool.
They're fun, man. They're different. They're very different. They're just switched on. They change colors. It seems to be a thing with snakes from Papua New Guinea. They change colors a bit. It's like a
Yeah.
mood thing. I don't know.
Very interesting.
You'll experience that one day. once you get some banded poplins from Eric, you'll see it, dude. It's
Mm-hmm.
You'll open the enclosure, at different times of the day, especially as it gets older. You'll see like they just change colors
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, well, the Brittles do certainly as well to an extent.
Yeah, I notice my female gets dark at times. The male does too. They'll perk up really vibrant sort of early in the morning sometimes. So
Yeah. Yeah, and definitely going through a first reproductive cycle with them too is really interesting to see how dark they got when they were building follicles and becoming gravid compared to what I was used to. They look like crap, and then first shed after laying the eggs, it was like you got your snake back.
Yeah.
Somebody turned the lights back on.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
I think a lot of animals definitely have some sort of like, at least in Morelia, I think a lot of them do get darker when they're breeding. I know the citrus tiger did. My zebra girl does. The jungle girl does. So yeah, it just seems to be a thing that like when they're ovulating or in that cycle, they're dark. They're dark. Yeah. I don't know if that has anything to do with heat sequestering or making it easier to thermoregulate, being a darker pigment. I don't know. So pretty cool to see. But like with poplins, I've got some animals. You pull them out at like 8 a.m. They look one color. Pull them out at like 6 p.m, and they're just an entirely different animal. Like orange versus yellow, or like dark versus like bright. Like really profound. So
that's crazy.
Yeah,
I'm very excited. To work with the poplins and also the jungles, man. I mean, I work with jungles at work, but it's kind of crazy. I've never had any here.
Yeah. Well, it's nice. You scratch that itch at work, so you haven't necessarily felt the urge.
They scratch my itch with their teeth.
Yeah. That's probably why you waited so long on getting your blackhead from them.
Right.
You're like, hey, he's here. I can play with him.
True. Absolutely. But
yeah.
Very glad I did that eventually.
Yeah, that worked out.
Now I just can't stop playing with the Aki and the Kimberly at work. I'm not even playing with snakes.
We know where this is going.
Oh, no. It can't. It can't go too far that way because
you're already mentally wrapped around 2 entire species.
Yeah, just the 2 though.
Oh yeah, just the 2 for
two
for now.
Little ones, yeah.
Until you get into Kingorum and
no. Pilberensis maybe.
Yeah, and then the Pilbras and then oh man, you're gone. Going down that slippery slope.
I blame Eric.
Lucas.
I blame Eric, and I blame myself for talking to Eric at least once a week.
It's gonna happen.
Yeah,
it's gonna happen.
Worse things.
With all the podcasts on there, I mean, it's no surprise that like we've all got colubrids and boas, and well, I don't know if you do, but I've got colubrids, boas, pythons, monitors, everything. So tortoises. Jesus, why do I have tortoises? All this stuff. Fish. Good Lord. Anyway, I don't have a whole lot else. I don't know about you.
Yeah, no, we can do a short one today.
Cool. It's warm in here still.
Yeah, I feel that.
Yeah. Next week, Eric and potentially whoever else is available will be on. We've got to figure out the Sunday Patreon thing here soon for the private stream.
Right. Yes.
So we'll be in touch and figure that out for the month. And meanwhile, after this, you can go check out all the other shows on the NPR Network umbrella. There's a lot of stuff out there. Go to RallyPythonRadioNetwork.com, I think.
Yeah, I think .com and .net both work, he said.
Yeah. And then don't forget to check out the NPR Network on Teespring store. Go check out the Patreon if you want to become a member. We do monthly private streams. If you sign up for the inland tier, there's a couple other tiers. So we actually got to talk about growing that some more. So anyway, lots of good stuff to come. Plenty of shows. There's at least a dozen other shows to check out. So they should all be available on your major podcast platforms. So give them a look.
Absolutely. Yep. And if anybody wants to get in touch with me, Centralian Exotics on all the thingies. Yeah, Brettles, Hatch, come on, hurry up. I'm ready.
Yeah, for real. For real. All right. Well,
Cool.
that'll do it for us. Catch you all next week.
Thanks,
Adios.
everybody. I'll talk to you soon, Riley.
All righty.
Bye.
Peace. Bye.